97% of the birds don't have penis. Only a few large birds like ostriches and emus have that blessing. But ducks, they are something else. Just imagine. This is the size of an Argentinian duck, and it's the size of its penis. On top of that, it's totally screwed, literally. It can be twisted counterclockwise from 6 to 12 turns. This half-meter screw can screw up anything. And now this drill seeks a female duck. During other days of the year, the life of ducks is normally simple. They swim, eat bugs, and care for each other. Even the size of the male screw is barely 2 inches long. But as soon as the mating season comes closer, the screw starts to grow with an exponential rate. The male mallard tries to impress the female with dance, vocals, or any means possible. If a female accepts him, he instantly engages in mating, but if the female rejects him, well, he instantly engages in mating. Either yes or no, he will duck her no matter the response. But in either case, the ritual is cruel and aggressive. First, the mallard climbs on the back of the female and bites her in the neck or head. Then he starts mounting the screw. The screw can sometimes damage the organ or make her unconscious. If they are on water, he may pin her head down, drown her, and then tighten the screw. But as a safety measure, females are evolved with a labyrinth-shaped receiver organ with some dead ends like pockets too. If she doesn't want that mallard's offspring, she can reject the sperm and go mate with another suitable partner. Some females even have a clockwise labyrinth that makes it almost impossible for normal males to penetrate. But in cases where there are more males and few females, the ritual is extremely tough. Many males go for a single female, and all of them take turns on her. There is a high chance that she might not make it alive. Or in lucky cases, she survives with a bald head, hairs removed from the neck area, and many of her feathers removed from her wings. After the mating season ends, the male's screw starts to degenerate and returns to its puny 2-inch size. And the group is filled with love, joy, care, and happiness once again. Well, until the next mating season at least. Dolphins are among the most liked animals on the planet, and they always seem happy too. Look at that face. Not only do they look cuddly, they look totally friendly too. They play in water, jump high, and word around the town is that they even save drowning humans. So almost all people like them. What separates them from other animal species is their intelligence. They are the only animals except humans to have names. Just think about it. They have names just like we do. They even call each other by their names. With so much intelligence and personal names, what do they do with it? Well, they kidnap a female dolphin and force her to mate with them. It doesn't matter if she is not interested, they do it anyway. You can see for yourself. Hey Sam, look here, I found a girl, come here quick. Sure Ben, hold her there, don't let her escape. Hey Thomas, Harry, and Michael, Ben caught a girl, come here quick, we'll have fun tonight. Now all of them arrive and surround the female dolphin. They block all the possible paths to escape and forcefully mate with her. It doesn't even matter if the female likes it or not. They just have it their way. They all take turns until every last one of them has their wish fulfilled. It is common for a female dolphin to mate with numerous males. So multiple males mating with her doesn't usually create an issue though. Also, most of the time, dolphins mate not to make babies, but to have fun. Having sex for fun comes with the intelligence, I guess. This is a sea slug, and sea slugs are hermaphrodite creatures. To make it clear, a sea slug has both male and female sex organs and can be male and female at the same time. When it's time for the mating, the hormones increase, and thus it's time to search for a partner. After it finds the partner, both get ready for the mating process. But there is a huge problem. None of them wants to carry the seed, and both of them want to be males. Now, how do they decide it? Well, they decide it with a sword fight. Don't imagine slugs in heavy armor and metal swords. They have their own inbuilt sword, and it's called penis. Yup, you heard it right. Both extend their penis and start fighting with each other. It's called penis fencing, and the sole purpose is to strike the opponent first. The battle goes on, and one of them strikes in the head. This strike ejects a liquid that makes the receiver believe that he is a female. Now the winner is decided and the fight is over. The winner then stabs the newly turned female's body and ejects the sperm through that wound. Then he starts kissing mouth to mouth and continuously cuddles the female for some time. Maybe it's now pleasure dance after sword dance. No sir, there is a high chance that the injected sperm might be digested by the female. Kissing and hugging slows down the metabolism process of female and helps sperm reach the destination without being digested. It's not your episode, man. Get some rest. Let me handle this episode. Okay, this type of sword dance mating, also called as penis fencing, is found in some flatworms too, but it's pretty straightforward for the flatworms. They don't hit on the head, cuddle, or kiss. For them, the first strike releases the seed and the receiver turns to female. It's simple. When I think of a deep-sea creature, this is what comes to my mind. By the way, I call her Florence Nightingale. If you want to know why, see in the comments. Okay, back to the topic. This scary-looking sci-fi type alien creature is an anglerfish. It can grow around 3 feet in length. For comparison, this is an average goat, and this is an anglerfish. You can guess how big or small this is, but the males are tiny, less than an inch in size. This happens when nature plays pranks on you, I guess. Since anglerfish live around 3 miles deep in complete darkness, they live a solitary life. So it's almost impossible for her to find a partner. She hunts small fish and searches for possible mates with her headlight. At least she has a light source. Poor males don't even have that option. This pathetic-looking puny thing just wanders around here and there without any goal or vision. But when he smells a female, he runs towards her as if his whole existence depends on it. And yes, his existence actually depends on it. If he misses this chance, he might never get another female in his lifetime. So he directly bites in the stomach area of the female and never lets go. He holds on for dear life, literally. This is called actual commitment, guys. You should learn from it. He attaches so much that he gets fused with the female. It takes some guts to dissolve yourself for the sake of others. It's a good example of when people say, "Let two of us be one." We just say it. They actually do it. After some time, even the blood vessels get fused and everything gets inside the female's body except for the balls. Well, don't ask any questions here, it just seems natural. Balls are always supposed to hang outside. Then the female takes sperm from those eggs whenever she needs to fertilize the eggs inside her. Since finding a partner is too difficult, several males attach to the same female over time and undergo the same process. Around 8 males can attach to a female, and all that remains is their balls. Their guts got dissolved, but they still have the balls, I guess. Male seals are heavyweight champions. Some seals, like elephant seals, are giants around 7,500 pounds or 3,000 kilograms. Just see this size comparison. You can guess just by looking at that they are among the biggest mammals on Earth. But females are usually small, around 5 times smaller. Normally, all the males and females live solitary lives in the ocean and gather together only during the breeding season. When it's mating season, the impulse rises, and the males arrive first in the breeding area and fight with each other to make their territory. Just around 10% of the males mark their own territory after a fierce battle, and the remaining 90% weak ones are forced to stay away somewhere around the corner. Then females arrive a few days later and choose the male who they see as the strongest. If a male sees someone interesting, he will forcefully drag them to his harem. Sometimes those forced ones are unwilling and too small, immature females. A single male can get as many as 100 females for his harem, and after all the females have gathered, male checks which ones are ready to give birth and which ones are fresh. Because most of the females were pregnant from previous mating, they need to give birth and take care of the calf for around 3 weeks. But for the fresh ones, the male engages in mating immediately. Since most of the females are already pregnant, the main mating ritual starts after the calves are around 4 weeks old. That is around February 14th, the Valentine's Day. From this time to the end of March, what they do is just mate. Male mates with all his harems turn by turn non-stop for 1 month around. The unwilling ones are forced into mating. First, he climbs over the unwilling female, immobilizes her in the position, and then starts mating. This may cause bone fractures and even death in some cases. Well, the small, immature ones are treated the same way. If any of his female tries to leave the harem during the mating season, the male will use force if necessary to keep her inside the territory. During the mating season, a male loses around 30% of his body weight. That's over 2,000 pounds. You can imagine the energy and intensity. And for those poor 90% of the guys, life plays it unfair. They have got just 1 or 2 to mate with, so they search for anyone. Literally anyone. Even males start to mate with other male. Bonk. Another species of seal called the Antarctic seal was documented mating with an emperor penguin, not once, but 4 times. Since the audience males try to copy the behavior of alpha males, researchers believe that seal and penguin mating will increase a lot in the near future too. After a month, females start to set for the ocean. These weak 90% are now the strongest, because, they mostly got 2, or let's say 2.5, and still have a lot of heat and energy left. So they catch the female during their departure and start the last resort mating. The sigma males don't have much energy left and are weak, so they don't really care. The last resort happens violently. Well, you can guess why. After the last resort finishes with few damages and casualties, the females leave the place. They will gather again after 9 months, and the cycle continues. This is a male redback spider, and this is the female. Females are highly venomous and large, with a red mark on the back of their body. Males, on the other hand, are pretty small. Comparatively, they are several times smaller in size and around 100 times smaller in weight. The female redback spiders are actually cannibals, and the male has just around 30% chance of survival during the mating process. So to continue the existence of species, the males have evolved in a unique way. They can store their sperm directly in their palps. If you are wondering about what a palp is, these things are called palps. Male stores both the palps with sperm, so it has 2 chances of fertilizing the female. With full preparation, the male moves to the female territory. In this case, her territory is her web. It cautiously attaches itself in her body in such a way that his head faces her genitalia. You may understand it easily if I say in 69 position. Bonk. While attaching, the spider makes sure that its palp can reach the genitalia. As soon as the first palp starts releasing the sperm, the female starts to release the digestive fluid from her mouth that starts to digest the male alive. Since the sperm is already stored in palps, the body is not important for mating process. So the male sacrifices the body and inserts the second palp inside the female. It lets its body be a decoy and patiently waits until seed from both the palps is inserted properly. But some male redbacks are clever. It is found that some males break the palp from his head and push it inside the genitalia. The palp gets harder after some time and it blocks the path. They want to make sure that no other males will be able to mate with that female again. They are some selfish bastards when it comes to the sharing is caring sentiment. After the mating is complete, the female eats him without any second thought. In a few cases where he runs away, he dies within a few hours because of that damaged body. In any case, the death is guaranteed. The female stores sperm from as many males as possible. She can then use those sperms anytime she wants, up to 2 years. This is an adactylidium mite, and you may have never heard of it. Since their mating is so peculiar, I thought I should include these too. The interesting thing about these mites is that the female mites are already pregnant before they are even born. You will understand it in just a while. Just from the birth, their body already contains the seed from the male. And now, they just need food to make some eggs. The female then searches and eats 1 egg of thrips. This is what thrip actually looks like, and this is a thrips egg. The single egg gives the female mite the required energy and diet to produce around 8 eggs. Among those eggs, 1 hatches into a male, and all remaining hatch into females. They all hatch inside the mother's body. Then the male mates with all the sisters and fills them with seed. Since the mother has no genitalia to give birth, they eat her from inside and come out of her body through that wound. The role of mother is fulfilled, thus she dies. The role of male is complete too, and he dies too. In most cases, the male dies even before being born. And the newly born pregnant females start searching for a thrips egg. The whole process takes just around 4 days, and the cycle continues. These doodling flappy birds are more than what they seem when it comes to mating. Usually, the penguins are monogamous animals, meaning a penguin will mate with the same partner for life, or at least for a few breeding seasons. Most of the time, the males live in water and don't usually come to coastal areas. And when they come, they walk for some time and return to the water. When the breeding season comes, the males and females gather together in the breeding ground. It's the ground where they gather only during mating season. Male searches for his wife, that is his partner from the previous season, and makes sound. Penguins can identify each other with their voice, even in the crowd. When he identifies his girl, he searches for a smooth, good-looking pebble and gives it to her. If she isn't satisfied with him from previous mating, she will not accept the stone and move away with another male. But if she accepts the stone, she follows him to his place and starts building the nest. That pebble will be the foundation of the new nest. The male then goes around searching for pebbles and brings them, and they both make a circular nest. When the nest is made, the female gets in position and they mate. If the male is weak, or if female finds her partner is not suitable, she divorces him on the spot and goes away to find another male. There are few cases of penguin divorce every mating season. After mating, the male goes to find food. During that time, if another male comes and gives good-looking pebble to that female, she will invite him to mate with her in secret. That male will run away before her husband arrives. So many fresh male penguins are found to steal the pebbles from others' nest when no one is watching. They even wait until the nest is clear and steal good rocks from there. Then they give the pebble to females while their partner is away gathering food or stones. If they are found stealing pebbles, they will be chased away or even punished. So stealing stones as well as stealing others' girl is done in secret. Penguins are among the intelligent animals. So maybe this comes with intelligence too, I guess. These are the drone bees. They are relatively bigger than normal worker bees, but you don't need to fear them. They don't sting. In fact, they don't even have the stingers. In the bees' world, they are considered as the rejects of the society, and you will know the reason in a while. The only reason they live is to donate their sperm and their life to the queen. The queen matures after staying in her cabin and continuously eating royal jelly for around 16 days. She then takes flight off the hive and reaches the height of above 100 feet, where swarms of rejects drones are waiting for her. The drones rush to mate with her. It's like a bachelor party where the winner gets to die first. Anyway, the drone that mates with queen ejects the sperm inside her. The ejection is so powerful that its reproductive part literally explodes along with its abdomen. The drone falls down to the ground and dies, but the queen needs more. So another drone comes and mates with her and meets the same fate. The queen takes sperm from around 15 drones and flies back to the hive. The queen is done for the rest of her life. She enjoys life, eats royal jelly, and lays eggs. Then she fuses the eggs with sperm she collected from those drones. But she fertilizes only 90 to 95% of the eggs and leaves the remaining eggs unfertilized. Those fertilized eggs turn into female bees, or worker bees, and remaining rejected eggs turn into males, aka the drones. The rejects have no other work than eating honey and wandering around. They don't help in food gathering or guarding the hive. So as soon as the mating is over, all the drones are kicked out from the hive, leaving just the workers, or the female bees. Since drones don't have any working experience, they all die of hunger pretty soon. The queen lives for around 5 years. If there is an untimely death of the queen, or the queen gets sick, or the queen lacks potential for healthy offspring, the worker bees instantly start feeding a lot of royal jelly to few fertilized eggs and keep them in a separate chamber known as queen's chamber. Feeding a lot of royal jelly turns those eggs into possible future queens. But the first queen to emerge from the egg searches for all the possible queens and kills all of them before they can even hatch. She makes sure her throne is secured. It's just a Game of Thrones, I guess. The first thing that came to my mind while searching for porcupine mating was, how could they even mate? I mean, won't those quills pierce the male? But I found that the mating process was quite interesting. The mating season for porcupine lasts for 2 to 3 weeks a year, but all the females don't get sex urges at the same time. Females have different times depending upon the individual, but once females start to feel receptive, that urge for mating lasts for just around 8 to 12 hours. If a female doesn't find a mate in that time, her urges completely disappear, and she won't mate until the next mating season. When she starts having the mood, she secretes a pheromone from her genitalia that tells males she is ready to be mounted. Males, waiting for just this chance and honing the skill of sniffing, can sniff that pheromone from more than a mile away, and as soon as they smell it, they run instantly towards that scent. Since forcing is not an option, you can guess why. He must make her believe that he is a suitable partner. So he climbs on a pole or a tree and stays above the female. Then he urinates on her body. Female then checks on urine and accepts or rejects him just from that sample. If he gets rejected, he searches for another scent. But if he gets accepted, the female approaches near him and stays in position. If the male rushes, he will get stabbed by those spikes. So he waits until the female rests all her spikes and covers the back spikes with her tail. Then the male carefully mounts and mates. The mating can run for as long as an hour. They mate multiple times until the female urge is not settled down. But if female is done and male still wants some more, he again goes in search for another female. After the breeding season ends, Male leaves the female and may return again the next year. These aqua weasels seem cute, but they are among the most dangerous creatures on the planet. If you love sea otters, or if you are like them, I suggest you skip to this time. If you are still here, let's talk about the insane mating of otter. Sea otters mate aggressively. They mate throughout the year, but spring to winter time is the main breeding season after the female gives birth. And when it's mating time, people see the dark side of sea otters. The mating usually happens in water. The male climbs on the back of female and bites the nose. The bite is so powerful that in many cases, the female's nose is damaged. Then the otter dips the female and starts the process. If she suffocates, the male doesn't even care. The mating usually lasts for 20 minutes, and 1 in 10 females lose their life during the process. But it's not over for the male. He keeps going on with that female. If the otter is in a mood, but doesn't find a female, it will go for anything of its size. Case of sea otters mating with harbor seals was documented in California, not once, but 19 times. Among those 19, 15 seals didn't make it alive. There are more seal cases like these from other places as well. Another case was in British Columbia, where a sea otter lured a female dog to the sea and knocked out that dog. It then started its thing. The body of the dog was found around a week later. This is a male hanging fly, and he is searching for a wedding gift, or mating gift to be exact. The gift here is food for his girl like moth, mosquito, or small caterpillar. Its main purpose is to keep the female busy while he gets busy with her. You can say it's like a paid sex, but the currency here is the food. Males have a high competition. It's not about who catches the tasty bug, but who can steal the tasty bug. Males are found to steal each other's food and run away. After securing a currency, he looks for females. He then approaches the female and shows her what he brought. The female starts eating the prey, and he starts mating her. The bigger the food, the more time he gets to successfully transfer the sperm. A mating usually lasts for around 20 minutes. If the female finishes the food before the male finishes the mating, she instantly kicks him out of her body and waits for another food. But if the mating is over and she hasn't finished the food yet, male takes that food away with him and gives that food to another female and starts to mate with her. And after the food is finished, either he rests or steals another male's food and runs away with it. This mouse-like creature is called antechinus. They are native to Australia and usually live solitary life. They eat, roam around, and sleep. The mating season comes once a year and lasts for just 3 weeks. So, when it's mating season, males stop everything and start searching for a female. By everything I mean they stop eating, drinking, or sleeping. They just want females and nothing else. This 3-week window is the only time in their entire life to have sex. So you may understand the pressure. It's time for marathon mating. By marathon, I don't mean males riding the females and running around. It's a marathon to find a female and mount her as soon as possible. And as soon as he sees a female, he instantly climbs on and starts his process. Since it's a once-in-a-lifetime chance, he won't take any chances and won't let the female flee until he is satisfied. Normally, a single session can last up to 5 hours if there is just one female. But if he sees any other single female, he instantly leaves this female and rushes to mate with another one. He mates with as many number of females as possible. Females can get rest in between, but the male is completely restless. The process continues for as long as he literally turns into a living corpse. The stress level rises to the moon. His organs get damaged. The body starts internal bleeding and almost all the hairs fall off his body. He turns into a complete mess. But still, he is after the female. After a long, continuous run of about 14 hours, the balls explode and the whole body is completely damaged. Even in this semi-paralyzed state, the male crawls and tries to get the attention of another female. The females don't want to mate with undead males and search for more attractive, healthy males. Looks like she found one. And the story of another male is about to end. By the end of the season, all males die, just less than a month before their first birthday. At least they don't have to spend for a cake, I guess. Meerkats are a branch of the mongoose family. These foot-long standing mongoose may seem cute and lovely, but they are among the most violent animals on the planet. The group of meerkats is called a mob, and the leader of any mob is a female. Since these are the closest relatives to hyenas, that totally makes sense. In the mob, only the queen, or the alpha female, has the right to mate and get pregnant. She chooses the suitable male and keeps him as the private partner. That male is considered the alpha male. The queen won't tolerate if the alpha male mates with any other females. But since there are other males in the group, they secretly mate with lower females. But even that is not acceptable for the queen. She wants a monopoly over the mating process. So almost 80% of the mating in the mob happens with her. The male meerkats are not that bad. They search for other mobs in the area and fight with them. The gang fight results in a lot of deaths. Aside from that, they are responsible for raising kids, guarding the area, and looking for food. The role of the queen is to give birth and feed milk to newborns. But if any other female is found giving birth, the queen instantly kills all of her pups and eats them. Yup, she is cannibal. She makes sure that only her pups get all the resources. So, no other female is allowed to give birth. The female is then banished from the group. The banishment for meerkats means certain death in that African desert. So the female asks for mercy. The High Queen will forgive her only in one condition. She should take care of the queen's pups, feed them milk, and raise them. You can consider her as unpaid slave for the queen's pups, where the rent is milk. The females have no other choice but to accept the terms of her mother and care for her siblings. Yup, you heard me right. In most of the cases, the queen is her mother, and those lunch she was munching were her grandchildren. It's the highest level of Game of Thrones I've ever seen. If the alpha female is dead, or if any other female takes over the clan, the new alpha kills and eats all the previous royal pups and starts fresh again. Around 20% of total deaths in meerkats are actually homicidal. They are killed more by their own species than other predators or enemies. And there are no mammal species on Earth more cruel and dangerous to themselves than these baby-faced terminators. Who needs an enemy when you have a mother like that? They are the most interesting animals when it comes to mating. You may have actually never heard of them before. They are called bonobos. Since they are chimpanzee species, they are the closest relatives to humans in DNA, but farthest when it comes to mating. Bonobos are very social in nature. In fact, they are so social that they almost never fight, and they always stay in harmony. And what's the secret for never being angry? Well, it's mating. Yup, they are evolved in such a way that they resolve everything with mating. If there is a conflict between two bonobos, they start mating, because that's how they fight. After mating, they are friends. If two males are angry, they hug, kiss, and resolve the issue. If two females are angry, they hug, kiss, and just think of them as lesbians. They do everything. By everything, I mean everything. Not only the conflict, but they mate for any reason possible. For example, if you see a friend, you say hello. If someone helps you, you say thanks. But if bonobos see a friend, they mate. If someone helps them, they mate. When males come from hunting, they mate. When they eat food, they mate. When someone feels sad, well, you got the point. They don't need any reason. They start whenever they get a chance. Almost every member in the group mates with every other member. Scientists believe that this process has so much effect that it calms their mind and they forget the act of anger and violence. They sometimes even resolve gang fight with this process. If anyone says everything can't be solved with love, well, here's a living example for that. The clownfish are among the cutest fish. For security reasons, they live in sea anemone. Sea anemones are venomous and sting every other fish with their tentacles except for them. Maybe they feel happy to see these clowns. I don't know. All the clownfish are male by birth, and the biggest fish in the group is a female. Don't worry, you will understand it later. And the second biggest fish is the mating male. All others are small fries that actually do nothing. When it's time for mating, the couple clean a rock by the side of their home, the sea anemone. Then female lays around 1,000 eggs, and then the male spreads his sperm over the eggs. Now the father is responsible for looking after those new eggs. He constantly cleans the area, removes dead and decaying matters, throws away the bad eggs and blows air so that the eggs get enough oxygen. And after some time, new clowns join the circus. But if the female dies, that male changes into female. But why? you may ask. It's because the male becomes so tense that he changes into a female in memory of his lost wife. Since even the scientists don't know why that sex change happens, I gave my own theory, so don't argue with me here. And after he changes to she, the most active male among the fries changes to next he, and the process continues. The transformation takes about a year though. So these are the only creatures I know that can literally say, I was male at birth, but now, my gender is female. These are bedbugs, and these blood-sucking bugs are hated by almost every person on the planet. The bigger one is female, and the smaller one with a pointed butt is a male. You will know later why I'm telling you their size. The mating in bedbugs is considered traumatic insemination because the process is really traumatic for the females. The males don't have actual penises, but a sharp needle-like organ at the end of their abdomen. Bedbugs start mating after they are around 40 days old. When it's time for mating, the male climbs on the back of a female and strikes the abdomen region of that female with his needle. It continues the process until the abdomen is ruptured, and his needle is actually inside that abdomen. Then he releases the sperm inside that abdomen. But there's a problem. The sperm entered the body, but not into the ovary. So it enters the bloodstream. They don't have blood vessels like mammals, but yeah, it kinda acts as a circulatory system. Then the blood carries the sperm to the destination, and they start fertilizing the eggs. The males can't differentiate between other males and females. The only thing they know is female is bigger. If some male eats a lot of blood, its size increases. Another male passing by may think it as a female, so it quickly climbs on it and pierces the stomach. The receiver's abdomen is damaged and recently consumed blood will flow out of it. It will turn into its original size and it will say,
all that for a drop of blood.
But yeah, the male-to-male mating mistakes has been recorded several times. The wounds in females heal very fast within a few days, forming a scar, and another hard layer is formed that is stronger than the normal abdomen parts. The scar makes sure no other male can damage the same internal organ for a few weeks. After 3 days, the female starts laying around 4 eggs per day. One mating sperm is enough for around 300 eggs. After that, she refills the stomach and continues the process. So if you see one, there's a high chance that your bed is actually crawling with hundreds of bedbugs. These lizards are found throughout southwestern United States and northern Mexico, and they are actually famous. If you know this Pokemon, Salazzle, it's inspired from this lizard. And talking about their mating, it's even more interesting than the bonobos. When it's time for mating, the lizard searches for a partner. Since there are too many, it's not that difficult. Looks like the partner is found. It instantly rides in the back of its partner and coils itself around the partner and bites on the stomach area. It tightly grabs the body of the partner with its hind legs and does the process. Now it climbs down and the partner climbs on it, bites on the stomach, coils the body and tails, and does the process. Sometimes, even more than 2 are found attached to each other like this. Now what does that mean? What in the world are they even doing? Why is the female climbing on male? Well, these lizards are actually created by selective breeding and hybridization. Kinda like how they made this, from this. Scientists created such a thing that can give birth without males. Yup, all of them are females. They can give birth without fertilization, and all the newborn are female too. If both are female, why even do that? What do they gain from doing all these? Well, scientists say the ovulation process gets faster if they do all these stuffs. And that's the reason they earned the title, lesbian lizards, where females play with females, and no males are needed to continue the generation. And I bet, these are the favorite animals of feminist society. This 2-story tall, long-neck animal is a sample piece of nature. If I didn't know they existed, I would rather say, unicorns are real, and they are fake. Believe me, even you would think it's an alien. And when it comes to mating, they are even weirder. When it's time, the male moves around in search of a female. There she is. Now he nudges her several times. It triggers the urination in female. Then the male bends his neck like a snake and keeps his head below that waterfall. He then sniffs the pheromones in that urine and finds out if the female is ready or not. He performs all of this circus because his neck is short. Yup, I'm not joking. In fact, you can say they are short-necked animals. It's actually easier to do this than this. So much for the longest neck. When he finds out she is fertile, he follows her. The following can last up to several days until she gets into heat. If another male tries to get near her, there will be a fight. They strike each other with that long neck. In some cases, the loser's neck may break, and the winner follows the female. When the female wants it, she stays in a place and gets close to the male. The male won't miss the chance and mounts her. This makes him even taller, like a tree, and he sometimes might even fall back. And it's done in just a few seconds. All that testing, fighting, neck breaking, and falling, just for that few seconds. He might do it again, but the process is again finished in a few seconds. Even these small guys could do it for 14 hours straight. So much for the tallest animal. Aside from that, research shows that a high percentage of male giraffes are actually gay. Some say 90%, some say 94%. But I say, that much effort is not worth for just a few seconds. And after around 15 months, a new long neck falls from the sky, and the cycle continues. This is not a stick, and it is the longest insect on the planet. Not this one. This is a male. The females are the ones that take the trophy here. They can reach almost 2 feet in length. The males are just small twigs compared to this big branch. But that's not the weird part about this animal. The actual weird part is their mating process. Most of the species of stick insects give birth without mating, and all the newborn are females, just like these lizards, if you remember them from the last episode. But some of them need to mate to give birth. Among them is this Necrocea species. When it's time for mating, the male smells the pheromones released by a female and tracks her. Then it climbs on the back and keeps himself stable. Now the mounting occurs, and the process lasts for around half an hour to completely transfer the sperm. I know this guy is crying when he heard 30 minutes, but it's just the trailer. Yup, though the mating process is complete, the male won't leave that female. He keeps hugging her until he is sure no other males will come for her. He has donated a lot of his shares, and he wants to guard his investment. Some attach for a few days, some few weeks, but one record shows a male attached to its female for 79 days. That's almost 3 months. Don't be jealous, buddy. Close your mouth. Then the female lays eggs and secures them, some under the soil, some in cracks, some in leaves, and many other places. And this guy is still hanging with her. The life of adult females is around 5 months, and this guy hugged her for half her life. And after she feels bored? Yeah, that. It was fun while it lasted, I guess. This is a fly-like bug, but the only difference is, it doesn't usually fly. No, not this. This is a bee. I mean this. Look here. Yup, this head belongs to a small fly-like insect called stylops, or twisted wing fly. It lives inside the bees, or wasp, and takes the nutrients from them. You can say these are parasite insects that fully depend on their host to survive. If you take them out of their host, they die within some time. Now the question is, how do they mate? As soon as the male matures, he crawls out of the host and searches for a female. He can smell female pheromones from a long distance and can reach her even with the eyes closed. He pinpoints the female and lands on the bee's body. Since she is completely buried, only her head is visible from outside. She can't get out of there, even for mating. The male has no other options but to adjust with the situation. So he directly penetrates the throat area and releases all his seed. After that, he dies of hunger. Yup, they don't know what food is and die shortly after leaving the host. And for females, there is a hole and pathway in the neck area that leads directly to the ovary. After some time, the fertilization happens, and the eggs start hatching into larvae. They start coming out of that throat hole, one by one. One mating can create thousands of such larvae. Then those larvae wait for another host to arrive. When the bees or wasp come there to drink the nectar, they jump and stick to them. They crawl inside the body, fuse with them, and start a parasite life. And the cycle continues. This is a parrotfish. It's called parrotfish because of this. Yeah, these shovels make them look like a parrot, kinda. And I'm not saying shovels just for fun. They are actually shovels. They spend 90% of their day just shoveling and scraping the coral area for food. They eat algae as the main source of food, but they engulf anything that comes in that shovel, like algae, living corals, or some pieces of dead corals. Since the corals are calcium carbonate, they are not digestible. So these fish parrots grind them and poop them as white sand. Around 75 to 80% of all white sand beaches like the Gulf of Mexico, Hawaii, Maldives, and Malaysia are made from parrotfish poop. The best holiday destinations are just full of shit, I guess. But you all know it's not the weirdest part of this animal. Yup, the weirdest part is the mating. Parrotfish first make their territory by competing with rival males. They puff their body to look bigger and scare away the rival male. If that doesn't work, they bite them. But the most iconic act is headbutting the opponent. Now the ownership is settled, and the females join him in his territory. The territory can be as big as 2 tennis courts. The group has only 1 male and more than a dozen females. If the territory is bigger, the number of females in harem are also more. Now, the male has just 2 jobs. First, constantly guard the area from other males, and second, fertilize the eggs. The females release the eggs in open water, and the male's job is to spray the sperm over them. Then the water current will drift those eggs away. Yup, and they don't even care. They just do it again and again. What does that even mean? Fighting with other males, biting, headbutting, and making 2 tennis court-sized territory. And for what? What's the use of that big space when he can't fit his kids on that? I didn't even understand why he was guarding that area in the first place. Almost 99% of the eggs die before turning adult, and surviving 1% start searching for a new male. But if the alpha male dies or suddenly disappears, it triggers the hormonal imbalance in the most active female, and she starts changing to male. It's like the clownfish, but opposite. It takes around 2 to 3 years to completely change from female to male, and now she is the super male. I mean, he is the leader of that group. And yeah, they can say it too. I was born female, but my gender is male now. This is not a dragonfly. Yup, it's a damselfly. They look kinda similar, and even their mating is similar too. The difference is, dragonfly, being a dragon, is kinda fat, and damselfly, being a damsel, is slim. Hehe. The male damselflies make territory by the side of lakes or ponds, and will defend it from any other males. When any female passes by, he shows her how majestic he is by spreading wings and flying around. Then he clasps her neck. There is a claw-like organ at the tip of male's abdomen that is meant to lock in female's neck area. But if the female is not interested, she either doesn't care, or she plays dead, and the male is forced to drop her. A male can't force her in any way if she is not interested, and you will know why, just in a while. But if she is interested, she will stay in position and lets the male clasp her neck. This is called tandem linkage. They can even fly together in this state. The male produces the sperm in the 9th segment, right here, but it needs to be transferred to the 2nd segment, where his genitalia lies. You can think of this abdomen part as the sperm production area, and this as the distributor. Then the male releases it carefully and bends his body like this, and holds it. And in the case of a female, her genitalia is situated between the 8th and 9th segment, right here. After the female knows the delivery is ready, she bends her body and attaches her genitalia to male's 2nd segment to start the process. Now you can see the lovemaking has started and the heart has been formed. People call it a wheel, though. But the process is not that simple. Male wants to make sure that he is the only father. There is a high chance that the female was with some other male before him, so he inserts his genitalia and starts cleaning the area. It's shaped like a spoon to scoop out any leftovers from previous male. And, after being sure it's empty, he starts releasing his seeds inside that pouch. The process can take around 20 minutes to complete, and both fly near water. Most of the males won't trust the female, so they don't leave the neck until she lays the eggs. She dips her abdomen inside water where there is abundant plant tissues and food for eggs to grow. The male then leaves that female. She leaves the place, and the male waits for another one. You all know this guy, and it actually kinda looks like a horse, at least up to here. But either it's a male or a female, it's a she-horse. You will learn why in just a second. Seahorses spend most of their time just eating. This vacuum cleaner can easily suck small insects and shrimps. Hiding in rocks and using camouflage, they eat about 40 times a day. And that's not a big thing because small fries eat around 3,000 times per day. That means they eat 3,000 small creatures like these. Yeah, you can't see them. You'll need a microscope. Now let's talk about how these fries come to life. The mating of seahorses. Seahorses are competitive and fight for the female. They headbutt, snap with their vacuum cleaner, and even twist each other's tail and throw the opponent away. He won the fight, and now she belongs to him. Now the female starts dancing, and he should dance with her. The dance holding the tails can last up to 8 hours. They even change colors while dancing. And when the main event comes, she deposits her eggs in male's pouch and leaves. Now he must carry the eggs and give birth. All that fighting, twisting, and what did he get? The pregnancy. Now his efforts seem legit, though for just a few seconds, it was actually worth it. The male then starts caring for the eggs. He is now both the father and the mother. The female comes every morning to say hi, and then leaves. Actually, she isn't here to say hi. She is checking if the male is available again. After a couple of weeks, the male gives birth to many fries. It seems weird to say male gives birth. And the fries start coming out of the pouch. As soon as the female sees this, she makes him dance for another 8 hours and deposits the eggs. Well, this guy's doomed for eternal dance, but it's still a better love story than Twilight, I guess. Did you see all this, Matt? I suggest you to change your question to, what is a human woman? This is Mr. Peacock, and that's his tail, and they spend most of their time just grooming that tail. These half-circle feathers are not just for the show, it's their ticket for mating. It's the primary thing that females check before accepting the male. If you remove these tails from all the peacocks in the world, the peacock species will probably go extinct, and I'm not joking. When it's mating season, peacocks gather at a display arena called lek. All the mature participants start showing off and scream loudly to notify the females that the party has started. The immature peacocks and peachicks also watch the show and try to imitate the display and vocalizations. They need to know how to charm girls in the future. The females or peahens start to appear and watch the Mr. Peacock show. They can choose their Mr. Handsome from that show. After the show ends, all the peacocks return to their own turf, which lies near the lek area. Then interested females go to their dream male's territory. A male can have around 5 females for his harem. Peacocks are kinda normal during other times, but when it's mating season, the hormone level increases to the moon, and they won't allow anything except females to enter their territory. If any peacock wanders into another's territory, the fight can be fatal. Forget the peacock, they will even attack big animals, like raccoons, fox, and even hyenas if they disturb the mating process. And what's the mating process? Well, it's just a butt kiss. Yup, they attach the butt, male transfers the stuff, and it's done in around 5 seconds. So much drama, fight, and aggression for just attaching the butt. Looking from the front, you see a majestic creature, but looking from the back, you just see an asshole, I guess. Bonk. This is a leopard slug. And yeah, the name seems legit. This species is among the biggest land slugs, reaching a length of around 20 centimeters. This almost a foot-long slime bag is hermaphrodite, but with a lot of twists and turns. When a leopard slug gets into the mood, it secretes slime with some pheromones and slithers to a tree branch. The pheromone is so powerful that slug passing by can't resist it, so it follows the pheromones and reaches the slug. Then both of them start to rub and lick each other, checking the compatibility. Then they play with each other for more than an hour. This time is enough to create a strong slime rope so they can have fun in the mid-air. After the mucus rope is ready, they lower themselves down, still twisted with each other. Now it's time for the actual mating. And for that case, these slugs are dickheads, and I literally mean it. When they are ready, a translucent blue organ starts to come out from the side of their head. And you can guess what it is. Yup, It's their penises. It then gradually increases to the size of the body length. Now they start to twist their penises until it's like a tight knot. If they were microscopic, it would be quantum entanglement. Then the exchange of sperm happens inside that knot. It's like, give respect and take respect. But I don't think anyone respects that though. When the process is over, one falls down to the ground, like that, and another climbs up eating that gel rope. After a few days, both of them lay around 400 eggs, and the cycle continues. This spiny anteater is called echidna. This oddball curls up like this when there are enemies nearby. Since platypus are their one and only relative, echidnas lay eggs like them. And it's not the weirdest part of this spike ball. The actual weirdest part is their mating. When it's mating season, a couple of males start following a female, forming a love train. If she's not in the mood, she keeps walking, and the train gets longer. The train can have up to 11 males, and chasing game can run for a month. If the train is too long, few males at the back will join other small trains passing by. When the female gets in heat, she flattens herself in the ground, and males start making small trench around her. Now the royal rumble begins. Each tries to push the other away from the ring. The process can last for hours, and the last one remaining inside that ring wins the match. And now comes the weird part. Males have penis with 4 heads. It's like a crown, and it comes out of cloaca. Yup, you heard it right. And the female has branched organ inside the cloaca, but it can fit only 2 heads. So, male uses any 2 heads at a time for mating. He will use remaining pair the next time. Then the male curls up, kinda like this, and starts his thing. The process lasts for around an hour. After 3 weeks, the female bends her body and gives birth to a small egg directly inside her pouch. Around a week later, a blind and hairless puggle hatches. It stays in the pouch and licks the inner walls of pouch for milk. Around 2 months later, the spikes start to develop, and mother keeps the puggle inside a burrow. And after 5 years, well, the same cycle continues. This weapon is called a morning star, and I can tell for sure that's a serious weapon. But do you know what's even more serious? This. It's a seed beetle's weapon. Well, you saw the plug. Just imagine what happens to the socket it enters. The seed beetles are found in every continent, except Antarctica. Maybe they are afraid of seals, I guess. Heh. If you have seen small bugs inside beans, it's probably this beetle. They spend the larva and pupa stage eating beans from inside. And as soon as they emerge from this pod, well, males will be male. My mistake. She's actually a female. Sorry guys. The bad habit of blaming the males. Heh. Female follows the pheromones released by the male, tracks him down, and then gets in the position. The male climbs and mounts his star. The star makes several cuts inside the female's cavity and the female beetle tries to push him away. The male won't let go, because a sudden withdrawal of the star can pull the reproductive and digestive system along with it, and can permanently damage the female. So he holds on for some time and releases the seed, and some other fluids as well. And when the process is finished, where does the female go? Well, to find another male. Now it looks fishy. If there was pain, why would she look for another male? I got confused and started searching for it. I found a research paper from 2021. I've given the link in the description if you want to read that. The research says that they actually don't feel that much pain and prefer the big and spiky stars over the small ones. Female mates with a lot, but once she finds the male with a big-sized spike, she dumps all the previous collections and keeps this sperm for her eggs. It creates healthy offspring, males with big guns and females with more bullets. I mean eggs. Also, big stars produce more fluids, and some of the fluid is nutritional for eggs development. At the end of the day, he ain't that bad after all. This is a laysan albatross. It kinda looks like a seagull, but it's slightly bigger. They are found primarily in Laysan Island, hence the name laysan albatross. When in air, these birds can fly hundreds of miles without flapping their wings. They can fly continuously for more than a week, and even sleep while the flight is on autopilot. And when it's breeding season, they fly back to their breeding ground. These birds have a single partner for life and stay committed to the relationship. When the males and females arrive in their previous mating location, they search for their lifelong partner. They might not remember the face, but they remember the dance they shared. Maybe that female is the previous partner. Nope, she isn't. Maybe she is the one then. Not her too. And her? Yup, the real partner is found. They now move towards their previous nest. Then they mate in that nest. When there are more females and few males, the male will wander off and greet some non-paired females. But he won't form a relation though. It's just a meeting and greeting. He is actually loyal to the first one. Then all of them fly to get some food. They spend several weeks eating and flying, and return home when the female is ready to lay the egg. For the meet and greet female, she won't get to stay with the male, so she teams up with another female to raise the newborn egg. The male and female pair will do just fine, raising one kid, but if it's two greeted females, there will be a problem. Raising and feeding more than one chick is almost impossible. So, which one will they raise? Well, they sometimes solve the situation like this. At least both are happy with the results. The egg will hatch in around 2 months, and they will raise it for few more months. Then kids join the dance class for around 10 years, and then show the moves to newly found chicks. Well, the cycle continues. These are barnacles, and they are found almost everywhere, even attached to whales, turtles, rocks, and boats. Every member of the Flying Dutchman has barnacles on them. And this is also a barnacle if you have played Valheim. So, you can think of them as multiverse-level creatures. Barnacles are crustaceans, just like crabs and lobsters. They have these feathery leg-like structures called cirri that gather food and help to filter the water. Don't confuse this cirri with this cirri. It's completely useless. Barnacles are cemented to the surface and can't move. They always stay inside that shell. But if they can't move, how do they even mate? Barnacles are hermaphrodite, and they have a very long history. Look, the history is coming out, and man, it's really long, around 8 times its length. If we had that long history, long-distance relationship wouldn't be a problem, I guess. Since the barnacles are almost blind, they completely rely on these whips for searching and mating. And what's the mating process? Well, it's the home delivery system. The noodle first follows the scent and locates the neighbor. Then, it enters the home and drops the seed, and then searches for another one. Some other barnacle drops its seed on this guy. It's a happy mutual relationship. These guys invented home delivery system before we invented homes, and we think we are the intelligent ones. For this lonely guy, he has 2 options. Either scatter the seeds on the water and hope for someone to catch it, or simply mate with itself. Yup. They can do that too, mating with itself and making eggs, though it doesn't happen much. After eggs hatch, they just float in water. Some become food for marine life, and some search for a stable base to attach to. It's a fascinating evolution, but you shouldn't get attached to their history, I guess. This is a cat, and we all know this furball. They are the most loved animals after dogs. They are small, low maintenance, and they mind their own business. So, it's practically easier to own a cat than a dog. Since cats don't usually obey the owners, many people think cats don't love them. But I myself have a cat, and I can say with confidence, it does care about me. A lot, in fact. But it doesn't obey me, though. Okay, if you don't want to know its mating process, just skip to this time. For those who are still here, let's start the weird mating of cats. When a female cat gets in mood, she becomes restless and makes a howling sound. She shows a lot of affection, doesn't eat much, raises the butt kinda like this, sprays urine everywhere and does the signature move, licking. If your cat does this, it means she needs a date. So, get her one. If not, she will run away from home in search of male. Don't worry, she will get right back after finishing her business. She then releases the pheromones and howls to advertise her situation. Males, either pets or ferals, will track her down from the sound or pheromones and gather around her. Now, it's a showdown. The males fight and scratch each other, and the fight can be brutal. And the winner is decided. It's a feral male. Now he climbs and bites the neck of the female and mounts his weapon. The mating is actually painful, and the female makes a crying sound. And the reason is this. This is a cat's penis, and I'm not joking. These reverse spikes are not squishy things. They are made from keratin, the same material that makes its claws. So the process is painful for females. But the weird thing is, it's actually a necessary pain. Yup, females need to feel the pain to produce the eggs inside the ovaries. And no pain means no eggs, no fertilization, and no kittens. Female mates with as many males as possible within that heat period, and returns home. One female can fertilize many males' seeds at the same time, and the result is this. If you have ever wondered why the sibling kittens are different and colorful, well, all of these kittens have different fathers. Yup, it's called superfecundation, and it's a normal thing for cats. This fly-like insect is called neotrogla. Though it can fly, it's not a fly. In fact, it is closer to lice than the flies. Since it's a winged louse, it's not a parasite, and the main food of this lice is bat guano. So, these lice are found in the dry bat caves of Brazil. They also eat dead bats and small organic matters. Lice with wings is kinda weird, but the weirdest part is their mating. This is probably the one and only species where females have the penis. Yup, you heard me right. Females have a straw-type organ called gynecosome, which is used for mating. Then you may wonder, what do males have? Well, they have a hole. Yup, these species take lovemaking to whole new level. When it's mating time, the female searches for the ripe and juicy male and tracks him through the pheromones. She approaches him and immediately mounts him. Then she starts sucking all the seminal fluids from male's body. It's like a motor pump sucking water. The mating process lasts for more than 50 hours, and she won't stop her engine until he is completely dry. This is done not only for fertilization, but also as a food source. Yup, it's their food supply as well. They use sperm for fertilization and remaining fluids act as food. In that barren, dry environment, where the only food source is bat's poop, the seminal fluids is regarded as the highest nutrient delicacy. So as soon as they find a juicy male, they instantly dip the straw and start sucking. Even small, immature females are sometimes found climbing the adult males. They get free food, so they just don't care about anything else. This Pinocchio is southern Darwin's frog. Charles Darwin found this frog on the southern side of Chile and Argentina, so it was named like that. There is also a northern species with similar mating style, but scientists say it's probably extinct. So, we'll talk about the southern one in this video. These frogs are small, just around 2 centimeters in length. When it's mating time, the male makes a pip-pip sound or whistles to call the female. After some time, a willing female arrives in his location. When talking about frog mating, you would probably imagine the male being the backpack, like this. But these females won't carry the males, at least not yet. Instead, the male leads and guides the female to the desired location. This is the location, the moist dried leaves area. Now the female goes under the male, and usually lays around 6 eggs in the leaves. It's the brief time when male gets to be a backpack. And she goes away. Now it's up to male to care for the eggs. The male then spreads the sperm and fertilizes them. He guards the eggs for around 20 days, or until they change into small tadpoles. Then he eats them, not eating and digesting, but gulping and keeping them in the vocal sacs. He keeps those eggs in his vocal sacs for around 2 months. The tadpoles develop into small frogs inside that sac. When it's almost time for kids to come out, he again whistles and calls another female for the next batch of eggs. The movement of small frogs can be seen from outside. It's kinda to show that he is a great father. And females are happy to lay eggs for caring males. So, by the time the new tadpoles are ready to eat, male vomits the grown froglets, one by one, and clears the vocal sac. Then the small frogs go away, and the male gulps the new batch of tadpoles. And the cycle continues. And as always, I love you guys.